God damn it.
What the fuck?
Oh! Holy shit! Today I'm looking at one, possibly two cars. The first being a 2001 Explorer. It's got 169,000 miles, I think. Ice cold air, according to the seller. She hasn't listed any issues with it, but I'm figuring there might be because the price is $650. It's been for sale for a few weeks. Typical poorly listed car, terrible ad, no wonder nobody showed up. So I'm gonna check that out first. Per usual, my aim is to get that around 300. Obviously, ideally less, but probably not. I'm gonna try to aim around 300. The other thing I don't like about it is it has the single overhead cam motor, which the timing chain tensioners are plastic and they snap, and the motor's junk at that point. And the timing chain tensioners are at the back of the motor, which to do that job, to change those out for preventative maintenance is a huge ordeal, more expensive to do than the truck is worth. So, but again, if I get this thing for $300 and there's no timing chain noise clanking around for bad tensioners, I don't give a shit. Like if the thing lasts 6 months, if I don't sell it, it lasts 6 months and it blows up, whatever, I got my money's worth. And I like the single overhead cam motor a lot. It's very smooth running, very good on gas, a little less prehistoric than the old school OHV. But again, you always have that fear of the timing chain, whereas with the OHV, you never worry about it. It's not a problem with those motors. But they're doggy, they're very slow, and they leak a lot of oil, whereas these don't really leak that bad. So we'll see. I'm going to check that out first. Alright, so I'm here looking at the Explorer. It's got a dead battery. Geez, gonna hit that fucking Accord. So I guess he's gonna jump it for me right now. But I don't know what the deal, if this thing's a flip or what. I guess I'll find out now. I just pulled up. So, let you guys know what happens. Alright, so I just bought this 2001 Explorer. I'm not crazy about the deal. I think it was a good deal. I don't think it's a great deal. Some of you will say I'm crazy, and it is, and some of you will probably agree. It's got 169,000 miles on it. It's got no check engine lights. It shifts smooth. It runs smooth. It is a single overhead cam, like I was saying earlier, but I had him rev the piss out of the motor, and I didn't hear any chain clatter from a broken guide, timing chain guide, so I think that's okay. This is the first I've had it up to this speed, so I'm praying I don't feel anything too funny. Anyway, I bought it for $350. He was asking $650, which is already cheap. I offered $300, and because I did the classic, what's your best number? He wouldn't say, so I said, okay, well I'm at $300, and he said, first he was like, no, and I'm like, well listen, this is why. I listed off all the things that are wrong with it, and he countered back with 400. Sorry, I'm focusing on what the car is doing right now. If I get a little off when I'm talking about, making sure I don't hear anything funny. And actually drives pretty straight. So anyway, I countered at 350. I'm like, that's it. I'm not going a dime higher. And he agreed. He did have other people calling him while we were doing the test drive, and I actually heard the calls, and like it was a bullshit thing. So I know it. Other people were interested. It does have some quirks. That's just a door ajar. The tailgate's probably open, crack, or maybe it's just a bad sensor on one of these doors. Looks like the temperature gauge doesn't work that well because it never gets any higher than that. Gas gauge I'm not sure about. It's definitely probably low on gas. Transmission fluid looked good. Engine oil, I think it's going to need an oil change. He says he just did it recently, but I beg to differ. His car has been sitting a little bit. It was his father's, and his father passed away. Seems to be a trend lately. The cars I look at, they're all inherited. And he just didn't need it. That's why so cheap. But again, so far so good. I mean, I'd like to flip this. If it doesn't end up being a good flip, I'll certainly have no issue keeping it as a trail beater. It is a two-wheel drive, which kind of sucks, but I don't do any serious off-roading where I really need four-wheel drive. I just need something that's got some ground clearance and some meaty tires. So this would have no problem with that. I checked the front end and everything, and again, I'm driving it now, everything feels tight. Ball joints, tie rods, everything look good. It doesn't have the classic Ford squeak, but it overall seems pretty well maintained, considering it was his elderly father. And cosmetically, it's in good shape, just dirty. It'll power wash up nicely. Looks like I might have an alarm system or something, but I don't have any key fob for it. It's got an aftermarket radio. I haven't even tested to see if it works. I don't even give a shit because I've got like 6 extra Explorer radios if it doesn't. AC is working. I wouldn't say it's ice cold quite as he described it, but it's certainly cold, and it's not, it's actually pretty chilly. It's not turning off, which is good. Like my other Explorer had the bad clutch on the compressor. You can see my hand's off the wheel, and it's not yanking to the right or left, just a little bit of shimmying. Could even be flat spots from the vehicle sitting, because it's getting better as I go, which is great. The driver's seat. The driver's seat is broken. The recline feature, there's a piece of wood holding it up. Good news is there's about 5,000 Explorers in every junkyard around the country, and I'm gonna get a new seat for it for 30 bucks and throw it right in. No problem there. Everything else, the engine didn't really have any, I mean, just minor oil leak around the rear main seal area, pretty typical, but these, like I was saying earlier, the single overhead cams do not leak very often, and that is the case here. It's pretty dry, and the coolant was full. You could tell it wasn't just refilled because it's old coolant. And the oil is old as well, which I kind of like to see because I know somebody's not dumping no fresh oil into the thing. You can tell it needs a throttle body cleaning. It's kind of, the throttle's a hair sticky, not terribly, but yeah, it's a car that's been sitting, and I understand that. And again, it was 350 bucks. The thing it does suck is he made me do a title transfer right away for his safety that I don't title jump it, which I don't blame him. I do the same thing with people. And that cost me an extra 130 bucks to get the title in my name. But now I have it. Now I can legally sell this vehicle today if I wanted to. So my total investment as of this moment is $470 for a running, driving, straight body, pretty clean Ford Explorer with working air. That's not bad. All right, I'm gonna do a quick walk around of the Explorer before I go power wash the hell out of it. Hopefully get it cleaned up, get all that grime off the paint, which is making it look way shittier than it actually is. I think it's good that the grime's on it because it's protected the paint as this truck sat. But I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up so you guys can hear it run. Hopefully that battery isn't died already. Well, I doubt it. Oh, this is a new thing I've noticed. You gotta like, because this thing's so loose. This happened to me at the gas station. I had a panic attack. And I think the car thinks it's in reverse. It's the $350 special. Let's see if I can put the camera somewhere. So I might have to adjust that. There you go. So the key is for this thing to be all the way up there. So it thinks it's in park, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the car. It's an aftermarket alarm. Maybe something's fucking up with it. I have no idea. The only other thing, so that's so far issue number 1. Issue number 2, this handle, when this is locked, the door doesn't open. Unless you really pull on it, you gotta like push it down. It's kind of weird. The truck does, I just used the key, but it's got an aftermarket alarm system like I thought, because there's that red little light. Got everybody pointing that out to me, which is good. It locks and unlocks, does what it's supposed to do. I just checked the oil, definitely needs an oil change, so I'm gonna have that done Monday. But you can hear, I mean, it runs pretty well. No weird noises, nothing like that. I revved the piss out of this motor, and I didn't hear any timing chain noise in the back of the motor. Runs very well for a vehicle that's been sitting for a while. But I definitely want to get that oil change done ASAP because that oil is pretty dark, pretty stinky. The only other thing I've noticed, when you put the AC on, the compressor is making a little bit of noise. Kind of like a rattling noise in the compressor, but it is working. Hear that? And I panicked because when I first listened to the truck run and have the air on, then I got in and put the air on and drove it. When I came back to pick up the truck, I turned it on with the air on. I heard this ticking noise. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that the motor? And no, I shut the air off and it goes away. So it's something to do with the clutch and the compressor pulley and something, but it's working as it should. I had to shut that. Let me give you a look of the outside here. Better look before I go ahead and detail it. Well, detail it with the power washer at the car wash. The body's straight as an arrow. There's hardly any dings on it. It's really the only ding right here. A couple of minor scratches, but it's in excellent shape. I'm guessing it was a one owner, being the guy's father, because there's the original dealer plate frame in there. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch to believe. You got a little bit of faded paint right here. Nothing terrible. The rest of it's mostly grime. And again, look, it's a very straight body on this car. For $350, all the tires are okay. They got enough tread on them. Certainly, I can sell the car with those tires way out. The brakes work excellent. All the doors open. Well, now I locked the... Some of them are locked, I guess. I know this one works because I opened earlier. Alright, I can't reach that. But I'm going to change the seat outs. This doesn't have to be here. All the windows work. It's clean. It's very even the inside. Like, I buy a lot of cars and they're not a pleasure to be in. Let me tell you that much. I'm just looking for my phone. It's in my fucking hand. Alright, here it is cleaned up. I had to run home and rinse it off because it always happens to me at that car wash. The rinse feature wouldn't work. It just kept pushing soap. So I rushed back home, gave it a rinse. Fortunately, I couldn't give it a proper drying because I got to go. But you can already see what a difference that made. That's not just because the car is wet. Even when I got here and the soap was all dried on, there's no more grime on the hood. There's no faded clear. See, the roof is clean now. I might have missed a few spots up there. It was a tough spot to get without a little ladder or something, but there's a little bit of grime I missed. I can always go back and get it off another day, but for now, it already looks 10 times more presentable. So I'm happy about that. A lot of spots I thought the clear was fading. It was just grime. So anyway, I gotta rock and roll out of here, but stay tuned for more Explorer videos.